Hey everybody, this is Rob Rene with Exodus Strong, and I'm so excited that you're going to listen to this amazing conversation with Kim Sorrelle, and we're going to talk about love and light and the light code and how we can help you with your health. And so tune in; it's going to be exciting.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. You are going to be so happy you are here. I'm Kim Sorrelle. I'm a writer, I'm a speaker. I get to do a lot of fun things in life. But my favorite thing to do by far is to meet people. And I get to meet some extraordinary people. And today I have Rob on my show. He has blown me away because of who he is on the inside. He's got the biggest heart that shines through. You'll see it come through this entire episode. He just lives what he believes. Every inch of him is like that. And I appreciate that so much about him. Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. What a very, very nice introduction. I really appreciate you. That was very nice.
Yeah, well, it's so true. I only speak truth here. So it's
There you
all true.
go.
Yeah. So Rob, I know that when people know you, that's when they're going to want to follow you. They're going to want to know more about you. And knowing you is an incredible thing to do anyway. So that's where I want to start. I want to start with you. And so I want you to start by telling us about 8-year-old Rob.
Wow, 8-year-old Rob was a fun little guy in the respect that man, I was just full of life, right? I had two older brothers and a wonderful mom and dad, and I was just very curious about life, and I was very athletic, back in the day, but very optimistic and full of life back at 8-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great way to be. So were you the kid out riding their bike and have to be home when the street lights come on and that kind of thing?
Yes, it was a great we grew up in a small town in Idaho, southeast Idaho, and it was a great American town, right? You didn't have to worry about crime or you left our doors open, and just it was amazing place to grow up.
Yeah. So did you back then, did you have any idea what you wanted to do as an adult?
I didn't. It took me a while, but when I was young, I did get a passion for athletics, and I ended up be finding as a youth, running was one of the things that I just excelled at. I played all different types of sports, but for some reason, God gave me this talent in running. And I remember it was probably when I was 8 years old or maybe 10, but my brother was 4 years older than I, and my mom was taking him out to one of those fun runs, you do on the weekend. And I was just the little brother tagging along with my mom to watch my brother do this fun run. And when we got to the race, I saw this other little boy that was about my age, and he was in his shorts and running shoes and a singlet, and he just looked like so athletic, and he was just warming up for the race. And I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool. And I tugged on my mom's dress and said, hey, pointed to him and said, is he running? And she's like, well, yeah, it looks like he is. And I literally had pants on and just normal tennis shoes, and I just asked her if I could run. And she's like, "You want to run?" And I was like, "Yeah, if he can do it, I'll try." And so I ran my first 10K that morning, and I ended up beating that young boy. And it was just one of those things like I've never run in my life, right? And it was just one of those things I've really found something that God had given me a good talent for. So that was kind of the beginning of, hey, maybe this running thing is something that I should try. And the more I did it, the better I got. And I ended up winning, national cross country championship when I was in my youth, and got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school. And so even though I did have an older brother who helped me understand that getting an education is really important, having something to fall back on is really important. Running was kind of it. It was like that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a professional runner, and I went to a amazing collegiate school that produced professional runners from that school, and I was on my way. I was you know super excited about life, and that's what I was going to be, a professional runner.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened?
Well, yeah, then God had different plans for me. It was pretty crazy that I literally had just made the U.S. junior team, so I was the second best miler in the country, for my age group was, and I just won an international race. We raced against six different countries, the best milers of six different countries, and I beat everybody. I beat the guy who beat me at our national championship race, and beat all the best milers from five other countries. And I was just on the top of my game. And that next winter, I was out with my friend on a training run. And on that training run, it was a 10 miler in the cold, winter, snowy roads in Utah. And I ended up getting hit by a 4x4 truck during my run. And that 4x4 truck hit me and threw me 36 feet, and I landed straight on my face and then my knees, and I was knocked unconscious. And it's literally a miracle that I survived that accident. And ever since then, it took me a long time to recover from that and kind of get my bearings straight. But I kind of knew that God had a plan for my life because, I could have easily died that particular day. So that just I call it the first truck that hit me because I ended up having multiple trucks that have hit me during my life. We'll talk about it shortly, but that first one was dramatic because it was like I was on the top of my game, everything's going great, just life was perfect, and then boom, God had different plans for me, and running was no longer part of the picture. So
Yeah, well, and he kind of made it clear, like there wasn't really a question because here you
exactly,
are, and now you have to
exactly,
physically recover, and yeah, and you should have died, like
yeah, it
just
was. I
that
mean,
alone, right? And to know that, okay, Lord, for some reason you kept me here. So
yes.
what
Yep.
is the purpose? What is it? So I
Right.
would
And that's
imagine,
been so fun
yeah.
for me now that in my 50s, I'm literally look back on my life and I can see how he trained me specifically, for the person that I am today. And it's like when I was young, he trained me about how to take care of this temple and that nutrition and how important it was for me to be the runner that I was, and just dedication and hard work. I mean, I was very, very dedicated to my craft. I was very good at it, very competitive. And that nature is just who I am as a human being. But it's really fun to see that he said, okay, boom, that you're done. You've graduated that course. Now I need you to go on to the next course. And unfortunately, I call this next one kind of living in the world, right? This next course of my life was doing what the world tells you to do. The world tells you to go get a college degree, and you go get married, and you have a house with a white picket fence, and you have three kids. And I just did all of that, and I did it well. Was at a large corporation selling enterprise software for decades, and I was moving up the corporate ladder, and I was making a ton of money, and but I was living for this guy, right? It was everything about me. How can I, you build a better family life for my family? How can I get to a better school, get to a better neighborhood so my kids can go to a better school? It was all about me, 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 me. And that it was an interesting part of my life. I learned how to communicate with people. I learned how to sell. I learned how to help give people value. So that was some skill sets that the Lord, trained me on. But then, boom, there's another truck. And that
Yeah.
second truck was the pandemic. It had a very, very similar impact that first truck did. I was in my corporate career, everything was going well, making a ton of money. Things were, lived in a fantastic house, and just everything was good. And then all of a sudden, boom, my life got overturned. And then that was the first time in my life that I'd actually had time to kind of sit back and evaluate what's going on in the world. And I initially was obviously scared, like everybody was. How do I take care of my family with their health? And I leaned back on my early years of running and how nutrition was really important to the human body. And so I was starting to dig into all natural health and how we can take care of this temple so we could survive through the pandemic, right? And man, I went down this research period where it's the first time in my life where I wasn't researching something for my job, right? I was really good at my job and I was researching things about my client and how can I help them and how can I do this, and it was all about something specific to what I was doing. I'd never looked at kind of the world, and when I was looking at all natural health, man, I just got blown away, and I started doing research on things that I'd never understood. And when I did the research, the rabbit holes I went down was just absolutely insane. I was like, holy smokes, this world is a lot different world than I really thought I lived in. I've been in this little bubble that I didn't realize was there. And man, I got really frustrated because I learned some truths about our healthcare system and how it's set up. And it was really taken over in the early 1900s. And there's lots of information I can share with your audience if they're interested in about that. But when I started researching that, it was a gut punch. It was like, wow, we live in a different country, in a different world than I really thought we lived in. And so that started me down a kind of a dual rabbit hole. I was researching all natural health, and one of the things that woke me up was this one doctor was talking about vitamin D, and I knew vitamin D was healthy because of my running, right? And days, and I was like, okay, they were suing this doctor for billions of dollars with a B. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Wonder why, he must be a really bad dude, or vitamin D's really bad. Something's really wrong. So I just did a lot of research. I'm like, vitamin D. Everything I'd researched about vitamin D is totally fine, right? It's an amazing thing that without vitamin D, we don't have oxygen, right? So we don't survive as a species without it. And so I was like, okay, vitamin D is not bad. So this doctor must be really, really bad. Dug into the doctor, and it's like, man, he's an all natural health doctor. He's trying to help people with natural solutions. And I couldn't find anything wrong with him. So I'm like, okay, what's the motivation? Why are they suing him for billions of dollars? What is it behind that? And when I started researching the motivation behind that, that's when I started uncovering all these rabbit holes of our healthcare system. And our healthcare system, unfortunately, is designed for money, right? It's not about solving health and getting the solution to people's root causes and getting them well. That's not what our healthcare system has become. Unfortunately, it's all about how much money they can extract from people, which is just sick when you get down to it. And that just really, 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 really made me mad. I was like, how is that possible? We live in an amazing country, and how is our healthcare system so broken? And so then I started doing that deep dive into all natural health, but I also got really disenchanted with life and just frustrated with what was going on. And so I'd been a Christian my entire life, but I'd never really studied the Bible. And so I was like, well, let me read the Bible, right? It said, is this thing true? And so I went down the whole, research on, is the Bible true? And I did the whole, the TAP method, the textual criticism analysis on actual text. I did a bunch of analysis on that, and that was amazing. And I did archaeology, digging, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of proof that the Bible is what it is, and then there's a lot of prophetic proof in the Bible. And when you combine them, it's just like undeniable that the Bible is the most authentic document ever produced. And it's a divinely created document. And so I'm like, okay, if the Bible is that authentic, then guess what? I guess I should probably read it. So, so I actually read the Bible a number of times now, and I've listened to it a number of times, and I study it every day. And that just started this period where I feel I have a direct relationship with God, and I have a relationship, not a religion. I think that's a really important fact. And so I was going down that rabbit hole of health and all natural health, and how can I help my family? And then I was like, how can I not only help my family, how can I help society with the knowledge that I'm gaining. And then I also was doing that faith journey too. So now I literally believe that the Lord has me on this earth to help people with their health. And then if I can help them with their faith if they're interested in it. So that's something I'm very passionate about. But
Yeah. Wow. So that was a big truck, the pandemic.
yes. So
Yes.
that was a big truck. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the metaphorical truck, right? It wasn't a physical one this time. The first one was probably a lot bigger, but but it hurt a lot more.
Hurt more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah. It was so interesting. Yeah. So the healthcare system, um, I don't know. That's quite a rabbit hole to go down.
it
You know, I
is. It
I
is.
look at things as individuals, and there are terrific doctors. My son is one of them. I have a son
Yes.
who's a doctor.
Yes.
He's a fabulous doctor who cares deeply about people, and that's the doctor part. But then
Exactly.
there's the system,
Right,
and
and that's
there.
a really awesome differentiation because the doctors and nurses, the people in the healthcare system aren't bad, right? It's the system that has been set up that is causes them to not be able to do what they want to do, right? Like I'm sure your son went into that to be to be a doctor and to help people and to do good things, right? They all start off with that fantastic idea, and that makes sense. It's awesome, but the problem is our system is they don't get enough time with the patients, and they get like a very short window, and then they can't treat. They're so specialized that they specialize in one area, and the human body is very complex, right? And it's there's lots of different things, and they all are interconnected. It's an all God designed this body so incredibly amazing that it's all interconnected. So if you're a specialist in the liver, for example, you're awesome at what causes the liver to function and be healthy, but you get something for the liver, and that might cause your gallbladder to be bad, right? Or might cause something else. And so we get this problem, and this is part of the research I was doing was our average senior is on 15 different prescription medications in a year period. And every single one of those medications has a side effect. So you get the side effect for one, and it might have helped you with your liver, but it started causing problems somewhere else. And then you go to a specialist for that something else. That specialist gives you something for that, and then you're taking two. And then the combination of those two cause something else. And it's just a snowball effect of problems that we're creating in the human body rather than let's look at the root cause, right? What's causing the issue? And unfortunately, like most doctors today, they can't sit back and have the luxury to look at the human body as a whole and how can they help people holistically. And so that's what I'm super passionate about. Just like, wow, we need to take care of our own healthcare. We need to be responsible for it, and then we need to help the practitioners that we work with understand this human body. What has made us to where we are today, and then how can we help them help us? And when you
Mhm.
take control of your own health, then it just becomes so much better because then you can say, hey, no, look, this is what happened and this is why and this is what I've been doing. And you worked collaboratively with them and man, your health just is dramatically improved. So I'm
Oh,
having a
yeah.
blast trying to help people navigate those things. And I'm creating solutions to try to help people at a really fundamental level. So I really believe that the Lord is I have some tremendous health issues and concerns over the last 7 or 8 years. I've had some really big problems, and those big problems I've had to do a lot of research and a lot of understanding and a lot of spent the time and effort trying to solve. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he taught me about frequency medicine, for example. He taught me about light therapy, for example. He taught me about hydrogen therapy, and he taught me about all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, you want me to put this all together, right? So literally, I'm writing a book called The Light Code, and the Light Code is about the system that I believe the Lord has put trained me on, which is red light therapy, it's frequency therapy, and hydrogen therapy all combined. And then the fourth pillar is the mind, body, spirit connection. So it's actually using your prayer and using your mind to control the body. And when you use all four of those pillars, you can really do a total body reset and you can help your body heal from the cellular level. And that's stuff that I would have never have known or understood, but I had to live through solving my problems, and it was all because the Lord taught me how to do these things. So
Right.
pretty crazy.
It is. It's so crazy. And it's one thing sitting in the chair where you are today, right now, this moment, and looking back and going, oh, that's why. And oh, I
Yes.
learned that from there. And oh, that was great there, or whatever. But when you're going through it, because you
Uh,
have been through it, you've been through the ringer. Like, what was the first thing? I mean, we're talking about truck, but
yeah.
you've been through some health crisis.
I was addicted to alcohol for 25 years. I got rid of my alcohol addiction, which is incredible. I'm so happy. I'm like 8 years sober now, and I'm so excited
Congratulations.
about my sobriety, and I want to help people through that because that's a big problem in our society. And I'm literally still fighting a huge battle. I'm battling stage 3 melanoma, so cancer, and it's been an incredible. This last 2025 was probably the worst year of my life because of my health. It was really tragic and tough, and but I've won. In my opinion, I'm healed in Jesus' name. I am the tumors have not are not spreading, and they've actually shrunk for over 50% from where my tumors were. And so I've had to learn so much about how this body works. How do you get cancer? And then I learned there's hundreds of types of cancers, and so you can't. There's all. It's kind of frustrating in some respects because people say, "Oh, you have cancer? Do this," and it's like you can't just do this because doing this is the reason I have cancer is different than the same person next to me, or the person sitting next to me who has the same exact cancer. The reason we have it is different, and so not only is that, but then you start looking at each individual cancer. There's hundreds of different types, and then like my specific version of cancer, I have a genetic mutation with my specific version, and I have to treat mine different than the person with the same exact diagnosis. So it's been really fascinating to learn all of this. And I was like, okay, if I've had to learn this, then everybody else who gets diagnosed with cancer or diagnosed with a major health issue, they're gonna have the same problem. So how can I help people through this journey? Because it was bad. It was a really difficult period of my life to try to understand how to navigate that. Our healthcare system in the United States for cancer specifically is not good. It is not near as good as a lot of the health modalities that you can get all across the globe. And so our standard of care for cancer in the United States is subpar in my just my personal opinion, right? That's Rob Rene's opinion. And we have some amazing researchers and amazing things that are happening, but there's a lot of treatments that you can get in other places in the world that are doing much better than our standard of care in the United States. So that's another thing. I'm like trying to help people navigate that. It's like, how do you take care of your specific situation, and how do you help yourself get better and take care of this amazing temple that God gave you? So there you
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're
go.
sitting here today.
Yeah, I am so blessed. I am so
Yes.
excited.
Yeah.
I ran 4 miles this morning. I had to take almost a year off of most exercise because of my cancer, and it was really my leg ended up swelling dramatically, and my lymph nodes in my right leg, were just plugged up, and so I couldn't. My leg for almost a year was just huge. I couldn't even. I had to use a roller to walk, to get around, and so it was a really rough year, but I am so excited that I've figured out a way to transition my body from a cancer producing machine to a cancer fighting machine, and that's really it takes time to transition your body to fight cancer versus produce cancer. And so we all have cancerous cells in our body, but it's really important to understand how to get your immune system to get rid of the excess and get rid of the sentient cells or the zombie cells that are in your bloodstream. And those are the things that the Lord has taught me with this hydrogen medicine that I'm doing, and all the cellular work that I'm doing is all trained by my personal situation, right? Of things that I've had to go through, and so I'm excited to help the world with it because it's like, wow. we can really make a difference. And my light code system with the combination of red light therapy and frequency therapy and hydrogen therapy can really do a lot. And I'm so excited about the body spirit connection. Is yeah, we are a human experience, and we have this spirit that we can use. We can pray and the Lord could heal you, right, just if you pray. So how cool is that? But he also made our minds very, very powerful, that our minds can literally physically control our bodies. So you can have the power over your body just by your thoughts and intentions. And then you start digging into frequencies and how frequencies are real, and frequencies can actually change things. And so if you can get some positive frequencies into the body and working with the body, and then you understand how your cells work down at the cellular level, and you can improve the way your body's functioning, and the cells are working, the ATP is producing correctly, and you get rid of the bad stuff in your bloodstream, and you can make the good stuff work better. Then guess what? Your body, God made this body to heal. Literally, your body will heal itself. That's the way God designed it. So we need to get back to the what your body needs in order to heal. It needs the right nutrition. It needs the right water. It needs sun. It needs that vitamin D, right? The thing that got me started down the rabbit hole. It needs this setup of nutrients, and then when you get it what it needs, it will do its job. And so it's been a blast trying to help people do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is so amazing. My son, actually, who is now, he's actually doing his residencies. Family med is what he's going to do,
Oh,
which
awesome. Good for
then you
him.
got to kind of know everything, right? But
Exciting.
he started out by getting his PhD as a cancer researcher.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
Exciting.
and so it was so interesting always talking to him about cancer, because like what you
Yes.
said is so true. There's hundreds of different kinds. We just kind of put it under this heading
Yeah.
cancer, but basically it means your body wants to kill itself, or some way, whatever. But so many, and they vary so greatly. This cancer is not like this cancer, is not
Yeah.
like this cancer, and this cancer in you is not like this cancer in you, and this cancer in you. And
Oh,
so,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
sometimes want to blanket it and say, yeah, well, there's a cure,
Right.
there's this fruit.
People hear the word cancer and like, oh, hey, just take this supplement and you're going to be
Right.
better. It's like, that's not
Yeah.
how it works, right?
No, right, right. Well, and the whole light therapy and frequency therapy that has come on more and more and more,
Yes.
and the research that's been done there, and incredible things happening through light and
Yes.
frequency, which are
Yes.
things that anybody can have, that don't cost anything hardly,
Right.
right?
They're all things
And
that God designed, right?
yes,
God
exactly.
created
Natural
light,
things.
right? It's the
Yeah,
first
exactly.
thing he created. It's like it's incredible when you look at how, if we're just go back to the things that God has designed, it's incredible that it's like, wow, we just need to give this body what he's already put on this earth. We give it light. We use the right frequencies. We give it the right nutrients. He put on this earth the nutrients we need, and we've done a really, really good job of ruining the nutrients, right? And
Mhm.
so that's a lot of like with our Exodus supplement that we have that has a molecular hydrogen in it that's really helpful. But we also added the nutrients that you need, because like you need 96 nutrients in a day, for this human body to do what it needs to do. And 99% of us don't get that through our diet, just because of it's really, really difficult to with the soil the way it is, and the
Mhm.
ultra processed food that we have today. It's really difficult. So you need to supplement it a little bit in order to give your body the nutrients it needs to heal. And so I'm having a fun time just helping people navigate through that. And I do little, simple things like making sure you're hydrated, right? Going out and doing grounding. Grounding, stuff is so basic. There's 5 things you could, actually 7 things you can do that are super, they're simple. They're free. So do them. And then when you start doing those 7 things, your body's going to start getting, performing better. You're going to start feeling better. And then it gets addictive. You're like, okay, this is great. Right. That's why I love biohacking and why I'm creating a community called Biohacking Village because it's like I want people to understand how incredibly cool this body is. And there's a bunch of little modalities. If you're interested in cold plunging, right, there's reasons why you might want to do that. If you're interested in red light therapy, there's reasons why you want to do that. And here's all the things that I've learned that I want to share with others. So it's just super
Yeah.
fun.
So tell us the seven things.
Yeah, so the seven things, the first one is water, hydration, right? So you need to I'm about 200 pounds, so I need about 100 ounces of water every day. So you got to get enough water into we're about 70%, 60, 70% water, our bodies are. So we need that water. The second thing is that vitamin D thing I was talking about. You need vitamin D. So if you get out in the first 45 minutes of the day and you get direct sunlight, it's called blue light. And that blue light is very, very good for the human body. And there's no UV rays in that first 45 minutes. So it's just incredibly good for your body. And then I combine three things when I go outside. I get the sunlight on my skin. And then I do breathing techniques. These breathing techniques you can add 7 years to your life if you just breathe right, right? So that's really cool. I didn't understand that, but there's lots of studies. Wim Hof is a gentleman you can follow, WIMHOFF. He's got these protocols that you can do that are simple to follow and that will literally add years to your life. So why wouldn't you want to do that? So I combine my breathing techniques with the sun and then I ground. I get my socks and shoes off and I put my feet on the ground. And grounding is really actually incredible. I thought it was stupid when my wife told me about grounding at first. I'm like, come on, I have sensitive feet. So I want my socks and shoes on. And she's like, no, you need to get on. And so then I learned the benefits of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder. So you would literally discharges the negative energy in your body and fills your body with good energy. And it's literally from God's given earth. So that's really cool. So those are the four, right? Water, sun, breathing, and then grounding. Those are the first four that just make sure everybody does. And then the fifth one, getting nutrients, right? You need to have the right nutrients. So when I do water, will put Celtic salt into the water a little bit because those Celtic salt actually has lots of nutrients in Celtic salt. You don't want to do iodized salt, but you want to do Celtic salt, and that gives you some of the nutrients. So and then movement is very, very important, right? So you have to move. That's the 10,000 steps in a day thing. Was sounded like onerous, but man, you start looking at how sedentary people's lives are nowadays, and it's tragic. We spend way too much time doing what I'm doing right now, sitting in a chair, right? And it's like we need to get up and move. And so that's and the seventh one I think it was nutrition, and I don't know if I did the nutrients or whatever. Those are the things that I try to teach everybody to do. And if you can do those things, then you're going to have an incredible existence where it's like the seventh one is literally meditation and prayer, and it's like I do meditation, prayer, gratitude. Those are all my early morning routine, and that's the first one I actually start with, and then I add everything else on top. But if you go into your day with gratitude and you actually pray, that it really makes a difference in your mind because it's been proven that if you have a good attitude and you have gratitude for the things that you do have, your mind just is in a better spot, right? Instead of everything is the glass half empty, the glass is full, right? Glass is half full, and you start looking at things at a positive light, and you have a better day. So, so that's really, really super important. There's the seven.
Yeah. Well, grade seven, grade seven,
Yes.
and mostly free too.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
it's not like go to the store and buy this and then buy this and then buy this and then
Right,
go to this
right.
person to get
Just
this.
do those, right? Yeah. If you
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
those, you're going to be so much better. And don't have to do all seven every day, right? Try to do, three or four or five of them and just start thinking about that. And man, it gets addicting. You're just like, oh my gosh, I haven't grounded today. I need to get my socks and shoes off and go ground for 15 minutes. And man, it really makes a big difference in your being. And then it becomes exciting because you're like, wow, my body's really making a difference. And the stuff that's been holding me back and the problems I've had are starting to go away because your body's healing itself, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
super fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. Well, grounding I find so fascinating because
Yes,
it's something that I've only heard of in the last however many years, right? It's not something I grew up with. Everybody
right.
go ground,
But we grew up,
whatever.
I mean, I don't know about you, but you grew up kind of going being outside, right?
Right,
In
right.
our society, our kids and stuff right now, it's like they're on their cell phones and they're inside, they're not getting that touch on the earth. And so I think it's really, really
Yeah.
important. We need to get back to the old days.
Yeah. Well, it's so powerful actually that I heard this and tried it and it worked. That when you're traveling in between time zones, that if you when you land in and you're in a whatever, like I was recently in Dubai and I live in Michigan, and so I think it was
Awesome.
like 8 hours or something different, right? But as soon as you can, go outside and put your feet on the ground
Yeah.
and just 15, 20 minutes, whatever you can do, and your body adjusts to the time zone rapidly. Like it changes it so much because jet lag is for real. It
Yes.
can be hard when you're somewhere and you got to be on, you're going speaking, you're going to do whatever and get there and then you're exhausted because the time change. So if you can ground, it's amazing what it does for your body. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hydration. I mean, mostly we're dehydrated. I mean, all those
Yeah,
things.
people are way dehydrated and you don't realize, you don't think about it, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I need to drink a whole bunch of water. But you see those, weightlifters and stuff that carry around their big
Mhm.
jars of, you're like, why are they carrying around the water so much? But if you think about it and you do research on it, it's like, oh my gosh, I understand because your body needs that water. And there's so many of us that just don't get it during the day, and our bodies are actually famished, right? They need that water for it to operate the way that God designed it. And when it lacks it, then your body struggles. So, get
Mhm.
it what it needs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. Or like you get a little headache and you just think, oh, guy, I have a
Yeah,
headache. Well, could be you're dehydrated
uh,
or you get dizzy. Well, maybe you're dehydrated.
that's
There's
right.
there's
That's
symptoms
right.
of dehydration
Yeah.
that people don't necessarily think of, but they're
No.
for real. And so doing all those things and for you to be in this position where you're like, okay, hit by a truck, hit by a truck, hit by a truck, hit by a truck, and this is what I want to do. I want to give back to others. I don't want people to go through the same things I've gone through, but you want to help people go through it in a better, successful, wonderful way. And you talked about addiction.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Man, addictions are tough.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. It was
tough.
it was no joke. It was something
Yeah.
that it was literally, I was a highly functional alcoholic because I had, successful sales career, and but every, 5 o'clock, it was 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Every day. And I drink 5 or 6 drinks and didn't even think it was a big deal. But it just became such a habit that it was like I got to the point where it's like I started not remembering things and start, just like my brain was not functioning the way God designed it, right? And I was like, what is going on? Why can't I remember things? Why it's like my wife would say, we talked about that yesterday. I'm like, we did? It's just like weird things like that. And I'm like, hold it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong to this body. And man, it was one of those things. I didn't want to go through a 12-step program and make a big deal of it. I just said, Lord, I think I need to stop drinking. And I think that, my wife had been asking me to do that for 10 years. And it took to where I wanted to make that decision and I did it. And when I did, it was not easy, but at the same point, I did it safely. I went to a doctor and said, because I did research, I'm like, okay, let's say if I was going to stop drinking, and I started research like, oh my gosh, if you are addicted to alcohol and you just stop drinking, it can actually be, you can kill yourself. And I was like, well, that sucks. I don't want to kill myself. So trying to get healthy and then kill myself, that's dumb.
Right.
So I did a little research and I went to the doctor and said, hey, I'm going to stop drinking. What can you do to help me? And they gave me some medication for the first week, I think. It was just to help me with the detox part of that equation. And I literally just stopped cold turkey. I just said, I'm not going to ever drink again. And I haven't had a touch of alcohol since. And it's been super gratifying. And I have a lot of thanks for the Lord to help me get through it because I prayed every day that He could help me get through it. And my wife was an amazing help, right? She helped me through every step of the way, just like, hey, and then you get in social situations and everybody's drinking, and it's like you realize, my gosh, alcohol has become such a big part of our society that you don't realize it until you stop drinking. Then you see it; it's like everywhere, and it's like, wow, it's really a prevalent part of our society. And so I end up I get a drink of soda, water, and lime, and that way I feel like I'm still connected, right? I'm walking around with my soda and lime, and people think I'm drinking, and I don't care what they think. I know that I'm not drinking, and but it just makes me still feel like I'm part of the social situation, and that's how I ended up dealing with it. And I'm just so happy that I was able to do it, and if I can do it, then anybody else can do it. So, geez, there are a lot of people that suffer with addiction, and it doesn't matter whether it's weed or whether it's smoking or whether it's alcohol. Those are things that the body just doesn't need. And if you can get rid of those, you're gonna feel so much better. And like my thinking got so much better after that. Like my memory got better. Everything God did, restored back to the way that He had designed it when I took care of it. And man, I wanna help people through that. It's like it's a real problem. And since if I did it, you can do it too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it is a real problem and it is really difficult and it's genetic. If
Yeah.
there's alcoholism in your family, man, like there is in my family. So I'm always saying to my grandkids, don't even start drinking. Just don't even
Right.
start,
Right.
because
Right.
then you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't have to be a thing. And
Right.
so, yeah, because
The
it's
thing I love about
for
even
real.
if things are genetic, you still can go overcome them, right?
Yeah,
Anybody can overcome anything, even though you may be genetically predisposed to
right.
something. Doesn't mean that you are. That doesn't mean that you have to accept it. So you can, and you literally can change your genetic makeup. Even, right? You can do genetic modification through supplementation and other things to help your genes operate the way that God designed. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
it
good.
is a problem, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's so true. Like yes, you can overcome and not easy, but yes, absolutely. And
oh,
there are ways
100%
and
worth it.
help.
100%
Yeah,
worth it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100% worth it. So talk to me about these supplements that you're doing.
Yeah, it's so much fun because they're really helping people. That's what I love about this. Molecular hydrogen is no joke. It's like really important part of the puzzle. This was when I was doing research on the Bible. I was looking at all the herbs and superfoods in the Bible. I'm like, okay, God, help me find some combination that maybe nobody else has ever figured out yet, or just something that really will help people. And I found lots of really neat things in the Bible. If I could find the balm of Gilead is like a healing balm. It's like, man, I want to find that balm. I would be it would be amazing, right? I could heal the world, but haven't found that yet. But the I was doing a lot of prayer and through that, and the Lord is so good. He led me to this practitioner in California who was working on this molecular hydrogen component. And I was doing research on hydrogen, and it's like, oh my gosh, hydrogen is like the base element that God created. It's like the smallest element in existence. And the neat thing about it, when I was researching the benefits of what hydrogen does inside the body, that's when it got exciting because it will go in and it'll find the bad cells in your body and it'll attach to them and get rid of the bad cells within your bloodstream. And then it helps the mitochondrial process, which is your energy system in your cells. It helps those work better. So it helps the good work better and gets rid of the bad. So that's why it's called a master antioxidant or a selective antioxidant, depending on which technical term you prefer. But the cool thing about that is like, wow, so hydrogen and molecular hydrogen inside the body is very, very powerful. And so the cool thing is our supplement, you take the supplement and it's a magnesium blend that is patented. When it goes into your stomach and interacts with your stomach fluid, your body creates the hydrogen. So since your body creates the molecular hydrogen, your body assimilates it. And then when it assimilates it, it gets into the bloodstream and then it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it's very, very good for cognitive people. And then that's why we said, okay, how can we make this molecular hydrogen even better? And we added the 7 biblical ingredients on top of it. So we have organic barley grass and wheatgrass, which give you the nutrients you need because most of us aren't getting the nutrients that we need. So barley grass and wheatgrass are really, really helpful to give you the greens that you need. And then we had saffron in it. Saffron is amazing for mood control and stress reduction. So that's been a very, very important part of the puzzle because it's we all live in a pretty chaotic world, and so that really helps your cognitive abilities. And then we have aloe in it, and aloe is there's hundreds of benefits of aloe, and aloe is very good for gut health. It's kind of where your health starts is in your gut. If you can get your gut working well, and I've learned that a lot through my cancer journey, right? If you can get your gut working well, then all the other systems, your immune system starts working the way it's supposed to. So that's really important. And then we added cumin, frankincense, and myrrh. And those three combination, they do a number of things, but one of the main things they do is inflammation support. So your body, when it is inflamed, that's the source of a disease is inflammation. So in fact, one doctor that I met with recently, I interviewed holistic practitioners for my podcast, and she was saying that the inflammation is the source of all disease. So, if we can get rid of inflammation in the body, then you're going to solve some disease problems, the disease process in the body. So those three things help reduce inflammation. And molecular hydrogen in and of itself already reduces inflammation. So you add our biblical ingredients with the molecular hydrogen, and the supplement is just incredible. So that's why I'm having so much fun with Exodus and that product is because it helps as a foundation. We have practitioners who own a practice, and they'll have patients come in and they start them on Exodus just as a foundation. So you start using Exodus because we know it's going to help you just get to ground zero, and then we'll start figuring out what your issue is. What problem do you have? And they'll do genetic testing and they'll try to find what's going on with that particular person. But they start them off with Exodus. It's like do this first, and then we'll refine it and make it better. So that's been
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, no kidding. That's so cool. It's got to be so gratifying knowing that you're helping people
Yeah,
feel
and that's
better.
why I'm having a blast with red light therapy too. It's just like, wow, red light is finally becoming accepted as a modality, and then you start seeing how red light is fun. But then red light, if you combine near infrared light, which is most of the systems do today, they have red light, but then near infrared light as well, and it goes like an inch plus into the skin, so it goes deep into your skin and helps revive the mitochondrial process in your deep inside your body. So it literally helps your body dramatically just by getting 20 minutes of red light on the body. The things start working the way they're supposed to work. And it's been fun. I did a lot of research even on red light therapy and cancer because there were some studies in a lab that looked like it could actually make your cancer worse, but they've actually in human trials and other things that they're finding that that's not true, that actually can help fight cancer versus produce. So I combine the red light therapy with this frequency therapy. The frequency stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Have you ever heard of Dr. Emoto and his water studies and rice studies?
Sounds familiar, but go ahead.
It's really intriguing. This is when I started digging into frequency therapy. Is Did research in Dr. Emoto, and he's got a book called "The Hidden Messages in Water." Here's the book. This book is really intriguing. See this beautiful crystal structure. He would do these tests with intentions and and even prayer all over a bottle of water, and it will change the makeup of the water. And then he would freeze the water, and he'd show you before and after what it's like. And
Oh
so
yeah.
literally, he can prove that the intentions you have, the frequency you give off towards something, has a physical impact on something external. And that stuff I thought was woo woo. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, come on, that is not true. But the more research I did and the more understanding I have on frequencies, it is absolutely true and it absolutely works. So I love his rice experiment. He does a experiment where he has 3 jars of rice and they all have the same amount of water in it. And one of them he tells it he loves it. He's like, "I love you. You're my favorite, jar of rice." And then the middle one he swears at. He hates it and he gets mad at it. He gets angry at it. And the third one he just totally ignores. So he does this experiment for 30 days where he does that thing. He loves one, he hates one, and he ignores one. And after 30 days, you see the results of those jars of water. It's amazing. The one that he loved, it's a little murky because it's been in water, but it's still white. And then the one that he swears at and it gets mad at is disgustingly moldy and gross. And then the one that he ignores is almost as bad as the one that he gave those bad intentions towards. And so you look at that and you're like, wow, that's a really fascinating. But then the fun thing is you've seen he's had hundreds of people replicate that study. So you see all these people who do the same thing. So then you start realizing, oh my gosh, the frequency that I give off it actually has a physical impact on external things. And then I thought frequencies was a weird word. I didn't know what frequencies were when I first started into this world. And then you find out frequencies are not weird. Your cell phone uses frequencies. The radio is attuned to a frequency, and you start realizing that light and color and sound, they're all frequencies. And so then frequencies didn't become a weird word to me. Frequencies are just normal, and God created all of it. God created all these frequencies. God created light. God created frequencies, and He created this human body so complex that it interacts with these frequencies. Then I started researching the human body, and the human body is fascinating. It's electrical. We're electrical beings, even all the way down to our cells. Our cells, when they interact with each other, they interact through vibrations, and those vibrations give off, guess what? A frequency. So it reacts to a frequency and gives off a frequency. And so then I was like, okay, so the human body is electrical and it receives frequencies, it gives off frequencies. Then frequency medicine all of a sudden didn't become, it was no longer woo woo to me. It was like, oh my gosh, this is real and actually does have an impact. And it's really, really fascinating. So that's why combining red light therapy with frequency therapy and our molecular hydrogen therapy combined, it's just a solution that is unbelievably healthy for the body. That's why I call it the light code. And I'm super excited to take the light code out to the world because it's something that God put into me through my life experiences, and I think the world needs to see it.
Yeah, so good. And you don't have to wait to be sick
Right,
to,
right, exactly.
right?
Don't, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Avoid
yeah.
the issues I had and just start treating your body the way God designed it, and you'll be way better off.
Oh yeah, amazing how many things you can actually prevent.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Yeah. Our bodies are pretty amazing structures
They
and
are.
and
It's
and
fascinating. It
yeah,
really,
so
all of the amazing scientists and studies that we've done, and we have incredible biologists and scientists, but they still haven't figured out the human body, right? It's still the
mhm,
quantum energy and how things work, interconnected beings, and you start really looking into that stuff, and it's undeniable that it exists. It's just you can't even measure it. So we can't even measure it. How do you do a scientific double-blinded study on something you can't measure, right? It's like
right.
you can't, but it's still we know what happens and we know it works, and so it's like it's just really fascinating how God has designed the universe and how He's designed this incredible temple, and I'm just trying to be a good steward of it, right? It's like let's figure out ways that we only have one body, and if you don't take care of your one body, you're in big trouble because that's all you've got, right? And so We need to just be cognizant of we only have one of these. So, that sugar that you're eating is literally a poison. And I love sugar. In fact, when I stopped drinking alcohol, I started having way more sugar than I ever had in my entire life. Just it was attracted to sugar. Then I started doing all this health research. I'm like, oh my gosh, sugar is literally a poison. It's like I didn't realize that. Also, now I've had to cut out sugar, especially with my cancer. Right? It's like with
Mhm.
cancer, that was the first thing I cut out was 100% all sugar. And it's been transformational. I feel so good. I feel so energetic just because the my body is working so well. And it's just fun. It's just like, wow, my brain is on fire. It's working great. My energy levels are through the roof, and it's literally because I'm just giving my body what it needs. And when I give my body what it needs, it starts performing the way that he designed. So I think
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
can do it. I just want to help them get there.
Right. Right. Yeah. So amazing. It's so amazing and it's so good. And yeah, like you said, we only have one body and we're the only ones that control it.
That's right. That's
We're,
right.
we're
We
the
can
only
destroy
ones.
it every day if we
Yeah.
want, and I was
Yep.
really good at that for a long time. So
I think a lot of us are.
let's take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it does change your energy levels. It does change your attitude. I mean,
Yeah,
so much. And I love that you talk about your mind and your soul, your spirit, your body, that it's all of it needs to come into play and
it
how
does.
powerful our
Yeah,
minds are. Our minds are so powerful. One thing that I started doing a while ago, my grandkids laugh at this, but I'm telling you, it works, is when I start feeling a little punk, start feeling like I'm catching something, I just go, I feel great. 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 I just repeat it over and over. And I'll tell you, I know that the cold has not developed, the flu has not developed, whatever has not developed because I'm saying those words and I might not mean them because
right,
I
right.
don't feel great. But just saying them, just putting that thought in my mind and having it come out of my mouth or in my head changes things. Our minds are so
It
powerful.
literally physically changes you. That's what's so incredibly cool. Is it's like it literally can physically change you just by what you're saying and you're speaking, right? The Bible even tells you there's power in your tongue. So
Mhm.
speak it out, right? And say it and even if you don't literally believe it, you say it and your body will listen. It is so
Mhm.
incredibly cool. I have stories and studies that I've read about people with even blood pressure issues, right? Their blood sugar levels even, and if they just speak it into existence, that their body figures it out. And it's like it will help them do things just by them being intentional with the words that they're saying and their thoughts and their mind, and it can control the human body. I'm not saying it's going to fix everything, but it's definitely can. It's one of the pieces of the puzzle, right? Our life
Mhm.
is a puzzle, our body is a puzzle. It's very complex. But geez, let's use all the tools that he did give us, right? So
Right.
let's utilize our mind as part of our healing process. And I use prayer as well, right? So I do that whole mind, body, spirit thing that I think is very, very important. And that gratitude thing I think is really important part of it because it's like the gratitude just takes you from that negative energy to positive energy.
Well, and gratitude, some people call it a practice. I think it kind of is. And in
Yeah.
that you start recognizing what you're grateful for. You start being grateful every day, talking
Yes.
about what you're grateful for and being grateful, thanking the Lord for whatever it is. It becomes a habit. It
And
becomes part of
you
who you
see the
are.
good in others instead of the
Yeah,
bad in others,
right.
which is really fun. It's like you start just getting this positive attitude versus a negative attitude. And you've been around people. It's just like everything in the world is negative. Everything is bad. Woe was me, woe was everything, woe was that guy's bad. This is blah, blah, blah. It's like bad, 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 bad. It's like you watch the news and that's all you hear about is bad, 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 right? It's like if you had a gratitude channel, no one would watch it because it's all happy and good, good. But that's what we need
Yes.
for our human psyche. We need that, and so we can create that ourselves just by having gratitude and your life's going to be much better off just because you have gratitude towards other things, and life's going to be half full instead of half empty.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, this was so great. It's such a joy to know you. And thank you so much for what you're doing. How can people get Exodus? How can people contact you?
Yeah, so exodusstrong.com is the website. So Exodus Strong is the brand, and we're so excited about what Exodus Strong is doing for the world. It's going to be the home of the light code system, and then Biohackingville is a community that I'm putting together that I'm very excited about. So anything you want to know about, integrative oncology from a cancer perspective, I'm having a neighborhood there. But you want red light therapy, you want to learn about red light therapy, we have a whole bunch of information there, and I'm using AI tools for good, right? There's a lot of AI that can be really, really bad, but I think AI can, if you use it for good, which is what I'm doing, you can really expedite your learning process. And so I'm
Mhm.
trying to put good AI tools in there to help you. For example, I'm developing an AI a fasting tool to where when you're fasting. I was doing research on fasting, and most people quit because they don't have an accountability partner, right? And so I put together, it's called the rescue loop. The rescue loop is fun because you have your three or four friends that you work with and say, let's do a fast together. And then you have an accountability partner. And you're like, oh, you struggle. You're like, oh man, I really feel an urge to have some food. You put a little button and it gives you a little personalized prayer, right? Or it's saying, and then you can say that. It's like, are you okay now? And if not, you can say, SOS, and SOS will send out a text to your friends. Your friend gets a text. It's like, oh, hey, I need to pray for her right now, right? And
Huh?
they'll pray for you, and then they can send you a quick back text of encouragement. So then you get this little
That's so
cycle and
good.
of your circle, and helps you get through your fast. And so that's how I want to use technology, is to help people with their health in a positive way. So fasting
Mhm.
is actually really fascinating from even a cancer perspective, and how it can really help kickstart your immune system, and then what it does. So there's a lot of spiritual benefits for fasting too, but just the physical stuff of fasting, I've found fascinating for your health. Just even intermittent fasting is very, very powerful for weight loss and just general health. Just if you just do
Mhm.
intermittent fasting, so why not track your intermittent fasting with the rescue loop, and it'll help you have your little journal where you can do your gratification every morning and say, hey, I'm happy for this, I'm thankful for this, and I'm gonna do my fast, and I'm not gonna eat till 2 o'clock this afternoon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those types of things. So anyway,
Ah, so good. Oh my gosh, it's all so good. And of course, we'll have everything in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here
yes,
today. I so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Kim, you're amazing. Thank you for what you're doing. It's just I love how you spread love, and I love how you spread happiness and joy in people's lives, and we need more Kims.
Well, thanks. I think we need more Rob. So thank you so
I
much.
appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you everybody for joining us. If you know somebody who this episode would help, which I don't know anybody who it wouldn't, but if you know somebody who would, pass it on to people. And I just want to say, until we see each other again, I pray that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.